Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions, and today, the Fulham preview. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're on the way to 6,000 subscribers. I hope you're all well. It's a Friday, the weekend is here, and it's good to see lots of you. Emilio, Vivi Vlad's in here, Magnus, that fan on Football Terrace was wilding. Yeah. My crash prediction is 7.5 minutes in. And some people, because I did start a minute late, saying that we might have had a pre-stream PC crash. We didn't. And I really don't want to tempt fate here, but I did make a setting change or update something that supposedly might have been the cause of the crashes. So I might have actually fixed that problem. But I feel like I'm tempting fate. Ross, good to see you. Joshua as well. It's J-Key. SS9, good to see you as well. Ethan, lots of the regulars. That Northside guy is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, it was... I was actually losing my mind a little bit last night. For those of you who tuned in to the Top 6 show on the Football Terrace, the return of Lee Gunner's long-lost child. I can only assume Lee went on holiday to Portugal back in his youth, and yeah, now one of his spawn is running around. But look, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, even if they do completely contradict themselves, and it was enjoyable. Anyway, Fulham preview. We've got updates on Balogun and Tierney, and yeah, it's just a bit of a chilled one. Other than that, good to see you, Max, as well. Hope you're all well. Is Lee Gunner Portuguese? No, but this Northside guy isn't Portuguese, I don't think, but apparently lives in Portugal, and well, he knows the phrase "filha de puta," which he likes to label most Arsenal players, and I don't think it's a good phrase. In fairness, he does only seem to know that one phrase. It's kind of like when I was in GCSE French, and the only phrase I knew was "My name is Rory and I like football." But hey, each to their own, right? Each to their own. I'm happy for KT, deserves regular game time. Yeah, we will get into that. Kieran Tierney on his way to a loan with Real Sociedad. It's bad when Spurs, Chelsea fans are defending Arsenal. I know, it's crazy. Kudus is gone. Yeah, Kudus to West Ham is... we've had the here we go, which isn't as much of a seal of approval as it used to be, this transfer window, but... yeah, it's pretty much a done deal. And look, I'm actually looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League. It's a massive shame he's not at Arsenal. I'm far happier to see him at West Ham than Chelsea. So overall, we never really went in for him. The interest was there. We'd spoken to their camp, but, we never made a bid. We never really inquired. So it is what it is. Good to catch the stream live. Always have to watch it back. It's good to see you, Jake Key. It is good to see you. Pain we missed out on Kudus. I know. Anyway, Fulham. The Fulham preview. Obviously, Mikel Arteta has done his pre-match press conference. No, young Tar, there is not a crash. We are here. He was asked about Gabriel Jesus being back in training. Obviously, we said yesterday Jesus was back in training. He said, we're really happy. Obviously, it was a big blow for him after the preseason. He had to have another surgery, but he's looking really sharp and trained the full week really good. So he's ready to go. So that's interesting. He was actually training all week. It wasn't just yesterday. He was asked if Jesus could be involved against Fulham. He said he's ready to go. Yeah. And then he was asked if Jesus could even start against Fulham. And he said, let's see, it's very good news. So, who knows? In theory, Jesus could start tomorrow. Now, do I think he will start tomorrow? No, probably not. Sorry, that's caught my eye and it's tickled me. Lee Gunner actually understands the aim of elite sport. We all understand the aim. It's just the rest of us have an understanding that not every team can win the league and Champions League every year. We all understand that the aim of the game is winning. That tickled me. Old William Mulvaney, otherwise known as Lee Gunner. Hi, Rory. First stream I've managed to catch. Excited to hopefully see a Jesus cameo tomorrow. 100%. We're definitely going to, from what Arteta's saying, and he's very confident that Jesus is basically ready to go, we're definitely going to see him feature, and actually it's a question of whether or not he'll start. And obviously leaving it up in the air is good because, Fulham will not know whether he's going to start or not, and that makes it harder for them to plan for us. He was asked about potential outgoings. He said there are some movements happening. Obviously, the last week is going to be really, really busy, but there's nothing that we can announce at the moment. Obviously, we know Balogun's pretty much gone. Tierney's pretty much gone. So a few more outgoings and potentially one more incoming, and we'll talk about that in a bit. He was asked about following Balogun's future. He said, we cannot say anything. There are some movements, but we cannot be dragged into individuals because there's nothing concrete yet. Joshua says, I want to see more Trossard. We'll talk about our ideal lineups. Hi, Rory. I just got diagnosed with HIV. I was gonna say get well soon, but I don't think that's. Have they got medication for that these days? I don't think you can get rid of it, but I think it's fine. It's 2023. You'll be fine. Hi, Rory. Why is Caicedo so much better than Rice in every department? Sorry. Did you see his debut? Because I did. Someone's just beeping a horn very aggressively outside. That's unnecessary. He was asked about links with Kieran Tierney and Real Sociedad. Again, there are things that are not resolved yet. When that is the matter, we will tell you. Tierney is basically gone. We've had the here we go from Fabrizio Romano. Rice didn't flop so hard he broke his face in the first game like Caicedo did. And Kieran says, sorry I'm late, what did I miss? Not a lot, Kieran. Just some of the things that Mikel Arteta has said in his press conference. He was asked about the transfer speculation surrounding Gabriel Magalhaes. He said Gabby is a really important player for us and there is nothing going on with that at the moment. Interesting that he said at the moment instead of just there's nothing going on with that, period. I'm not sure if Rory is a qualified medical professional. You'll have to go to a doctor's YouTube page for that. I'm not a qualified medical professional, unfortunately. Rory, sorry I'm late. Any chance of a quick overview of what I've missed? Basically, Gabriel Jesus is not only back, but he's been training all week and potentially could start tomorrow. Kieran Tierney's going to Real Sociedad on loan, and Balogun's going to Monaco. Other than that, we were pretty much just rinsing. We were pretty much just rinsing a couple of other Arsenal fans from a live stream last night. Arteta was asked about Fulham. He said, I think what Marco and the coaching staff have done is remarkable. The way they played last season, where they finished in the Premier League, and especially the way they did it, it was incredible. He is a coach that I always admire because they're really well organised. They have really clear ideas of what they want to do, and you can see his team is exactly the way he wants them. Tomorrow we're going to have a tough match. And I don't disagree, but I don't think they're anywhere near as good as they were last season. I don't think they're anywhere near as good as they were last season. So... but we'll talk about that more in a bit. He was asked about the whole Luis Rubiales thing with the Spanish World Cup. I'm sure you've seen it when the Spanish women won the World Cup. I think he's their president, effectively, of football, kissed their captain, I think, on the lips. Basically, it was like, it was just pretty dodgy and grim, to be honest. Arteta was asked about it. I don't really know what Arteta was meant to say, and he didn't say much. He said, I don't have the full details. I can't comment on what happened today. Basically, this president guy, he held a press conference. Everyone thought he was going to resign, and he's doubled down. He's come out and he said, I'm not resigning. Basically, you can all swivel on it. And, yeah, he's doubled down on it, which is pretty mental. And one example of a player is Hector Bellerin has come out and absolutely slaughtered him. But again, I don't really want to get into that too much. Rory, are you jealous of Chelsea? We are the most successful London club. Put a time frame on most successful club. Put a time frame on that. On why he's not lost to Fulham before, he said, I didn't know that was a stat. That's something new. Hopefully we can continue that tomorrow and win the game. But as I said, it's a team that creates a lot of chances and difficulties. It happened last year when we played there at home and at home and had tough moments. The way we won at home in the last minute, it doesn't really make sense, the end of that sentence. But basically he's saying, yeah, the fact that we had to win in the final minute when we were at home against them last season shows that they were good. Rory, is it a necessity to get someone else? We'll talk about that in a bit. I don't think it's a necessity, but I think it's quite important. He was asked whether there are any new injury concerns. The answer is no. So on the injury front, we're looking good, which when you look around other clubs, lots of clubs really suffering with injury issues at the moment. Beast Destroyer, Rory, I lost my guess the Gooner, non-Gooner streak. You did. You weren't here, and you lost it. So you start from scratch again today, unfortunately, Beast Destroyer. He was asked whether Mike Dean's recent comments about how he handled VAR last season. He said, "I prefer not to comment too much on referees. I stay away from it. I think it's clear from the images what you can gather, so I prefer not to comment on that," which is just keeping himself out of trouble. I kind of wish, in all honesty, he would actually come out and say, look, PGMOL are not fit for purpose. And actually, this season it's worse than ever because the players, the managers, no one can say anything to the referees without getting a booking. But we're also finding out that they literally make result-defining decisions based on not wanting to upset a mate. So there's big issues, I think, with referees. Big issues. He was asked about how good the Palace win was. He said, especially when you have to play over 30 minutes in those conditions with 10 men. But we did it, and the team showed an incredible hunger and resilience to win and react against difficult moments. And this is what we want. He was asked about the team looking strong physically, which we are. We look ridiculously strong physically. I don't know if you saw that picture of the 4 of them in the wall. It was like Gabriel, Declan Rice, maybe Havertz and White in the wall. And it's just, we've got a big team. I think at the end of the game against Crystal Palace, only 3 of the players on the pitch for us were under 6 foot, which is big. It's big. And he said that's something you have to prove every single day. At the moment, you're not at it. In this league, you're going to get exposed. He was asked about whether he identified that not having that sort of strength was something that needed to change. And he basically said yes. Whether we'll see Partey, Rice and Ødegaard as a midfield trio, he said, I think we already ticked that box. We played like that against Man City, which we did. Whether it will happen in the league? In the league. What about in the Champions League and the Carabao Cup? We have to play like that in the league. At home, away, for sure. I think it's going to happen. PGMOL, a pure communist vibe. Do as we say and love it. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I'll talk about it after I've got through this because it really does annoy me. It really does annoy me. He was asked if for Tomiyasu's 2 yellows, if they should be allowed an appeal process, and he said yes. I'd like to see a retrospective approach on that, but we know it's not going to happen. He was asked if it's fair. This is interesting, by the way. He was asked if it's fair that the Saudi Pro League has a 2-week period at the end of our transfer window where they can still sign Premier League players. And he said, no, it's a competitor now. That's my opinion. So, and he's not the only one in the Premier League that is not happy that our transfer window will close and Saudi clubs can still come in and buy players. Now, whilst I don't think that will be a massive issue for Arsenal, you've got, as an example, Mohamed Salah could move to Saudi after the end of the English transfer window, or the European transfer window closes, meaning Liverpool wouldn't be able to buy a replacement for him. Now, obviously, Liverpool would have to agree to that sale, but it is still it's a problem. It is a problem. I think that the Saudis will agree to bring theirs in line with ours if they get something going the other way, but it'll be difficult. Ibrahim just came home from training. Sorry, I'm late. No problem, Ibrahim. You can always go back and watch the first 15 minutes if you want. Some people are arguing. Dactyl's arguing with someone. Not sure what that's about. But there we go. So that's the that's the presser. So team news. Jesus is back. So who do you drop? Obviously, Tomiyasu was in the squad and will now not be in the squad because he's suspended. The question is, do you bring Jesus in for Tomiyasu in terms of the overall squad, or do you need to bring in another defender into the squad? And is that, who even would that be? And that opens up the question, another question about, do we need to go and sign another defender before the end of the window? And so what I'm saying is, we only have now, assuming that Tierney's going, and on that, Fabrizio said today, understand Kieran Tierney will travel to Spain on Saturday in order to join Real Sociedad on loan from Arsenal. Medical tests have been booked. Here we go, confirmed. So 100% Tierney has gone on loan. It leaves us with 6 proper defenders. Tomiyasu's only suspended for 1 game. But it leaves us with 6 defenders, including Tomiyasu. So we've got White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, and Kivior. Is that enough for however long? And in fact, tomorrow, obviously, we'll only have 5 defenders because Tomiyasu is suspended. You're 1 injury away from only having 4 defenders in the squad, which I think is an issue. Now, you could argue Thomas Partey has been playing at right back, so he's kind of a floating between midfield and defence as your options. But effectively, tomorrow, the way you'd be looking at it is if we start with the back 4 that I want, which is White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Kivior's the only defender you've got on the bench. Now, Daily AFC content is correct. Yeah, Rice can play at centre-back. I'd rather avoid it. Partey can play at right-back. I'd rather avoid it. And we do look a little bit short now. We do look a little bit short. Heaven forbid, if you genuinely look at it tomorrow, with only 5 defenders in the squad, Cedric or Holding could be on the bench tomorrow. And that makes me feel a little bit queasy in 23-24. Now, I love Rob Holding, but even still, having Cedric or Rob Holding on the bench in 23-24 at the start of the season when there aren't really any injuries, that's problematic. That's problematic in my opinion. Oh dear, did I miss anything? No, you didn't miss anything really, SAS stuff. You can always go back and watch the first 15 minutes. It was mainly Arteta's press conference. Gabriel Jesus is fit. Obviously, we've got Ruel Walters as well, but I'm talking about senior defenders. We've got Ruel Walters. I mean, we've got Nuno Tavares, technically. I think he'll be gone, but I do just worry. You just don't want to be light again, because we had the issue last season. So you just don't want to be light again. In terms of the lineup I'd go for, like I said, Ramsdale in goal. And let me know yours in the chat, by the way, but Ramsdale in goal, White at centre-back, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Ødegaard, Saka, Trossard / Jesus, Martinelli. With Timber out, we're essentially even weaker than we were last year because Tierney's gone too. Well, exactly. We are effectively weaker now than we were last season with Rory, mute Dactyl. Yeah, Dactyl, you seem like a bit of a... Yeah. Dactyl. You're gone. Yeah, he's gone. Sorry, chat. I should probably get a mod, at least one mod at some point. I should probably get a mod, because he was just a bit of a cock, wasn't he? Anyway, he's gone. Well dealt with. Rory, I heard in passing that United signed Johnny Evans at 35. How come no YouTuber covered this, even just for banter? I don't think they have. I know they signed him on a very short-term deal for the summer. I'm not sure that they have. I know they were talking about signing him for a full season. I'm not sure if they've done that yet. I'm not entirely sure. They've got big injury issues. Shaw's out. And by the way, this is beneficial because we play them next Saturday. No Luke Shaw, no Malacia, no Mason Mount. Potentially Højlund will make his debut against Arsenal. But even then, I'm not that worried about him making a debut against us. So yeah, we really need a defender. Not sure which profile though. I think centre-back. I think a central centre-back would be my option. I think we're fine at right back. I think, again, right back, we've got Partey and White effectively. But if you play Partey, I don't think you can play Zinchenko. What did Dactyl say? He was just like a football Twitter merchant. He was just trying to wind people up and yeah, just being a bit odd, a bit immature for the Rory Talks Football community. Is what I would say. Want to see ESR with game time tomorrow? I would like to see that, yeah. This is what I said 2 weeks about KT leaving us short, and people called me negative. No, I do... Okay. There you go. His backup's gone. No, with Tierney, it's an interesting one, right? Because I do think he needs to go and get game time. I think this is the biggest thing. I think he's going to go and get game time. He's going to play in the Champions League. He'll play a lot of football. And hopefully, he'll put himself back on the market. Hopefully, and truthfully, the fact that he's going on loan means I don't think Arsenal could get anywhere near the fee they wanted for him this summer. I think Arsenal went into this summer thinking they'd get 30, 35 million for him. And in the end, it wasn't getting close. And so they've gone, right, we're going to have to... And the reason for that is because he's played so little football in the last 18 months. And so I think they've gone, look, we're going to have to send him out on loan and put him on the market again and put him in the shop window. And I think that's what we've done. Now... We're back. We're back. Well, we shouldn't have done it, should we? We shouldn't have tempted fate. I thought we were clear. I thought we were home free. I thought the crashes were done, and they weren't. And they weren't. So I do apologise for that brief intermission. It was Dactyl. I have no doubt it was Dactyl. New day, same PC. I know, but I really thought I'd fixed it because I did the whole. It was like a 2.5 hour stream on the Football Terrace last night, straight off the back of this stream, where we had no crashes. And I was like, I fixed it. No. KT on loan means he could attract European interest if he's successful, plus we'd likely get 10 million on a loan fee and wages saved, so that's good, but definitely need another defensive signing. Yeah, I'd agree. I would agree. I think we should go short-term right-sided centre-back / right-back. Free up Dactyl. Nah, Dactyl's gone. Dactyl is gone. Fresnader on a 20 million release clause would be a clean deal, in my opinion. Possibly. But then I think I'd rather just see Ruel Walters slowly get integrated into the first team, in all honesty. My lineup, Raya, White, Saliba, Gabby, Zinchenko, Rice, Smith Rowe, Erdegaard, Trossard, Eddie, Saka. Very interesting. Why would you, out of a genuine interest, why would you drop... I don't really know what's going on. There's a bunch of cretins. It's fine. I can get rid of them. No dramas. Gone. And gone. Is that all of them? Gone. I reckon that's all of them. I'm gonna make mods though. But that should be most of them gone. Why would you pick Raya? Out of interest, why would you pick Raya? That's because the rest of it I kind of get. I mean, Smith Rowe I don't think will start, but maybe. Clayser, no worries. Good to see you. Sad Dactyl making ults. He's not making them now. This is the thing. He's not making them now. These are clearly ults that already exist because his life is spent jumping into YouTube streams and annoying people. You've become too big now. You're attracting cretins. I mean, we're at the same number of viewers as normal. I think we've just unfortunately stumbled across an absolute clown. Agreed. Ramsdale has to start. I agree. I just don't know why you would drop him. I think it would be bad for his confidence. I think he's had a good start to the season. It's mental how our defence depth went from really strong to kind of shaky just because of Timber's injury. Well, that's the flip side of having defenders that have a lot of versatility is that when you kind of, in your head, when you've got them, you're thinking of Timber as basically anywhere across the back four. And so you add like a player's worth of depth to every position across the back four. And once he's gone, that means every position across the back four has lost a piece of depth. So it swings and roundabouts. Big up, Rory. Love how you started calling out fools like Northside. I mean, to be fair, it's the first time I've really been exposed to that sort of debate on a stream, I guess. So yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. But Rory, I'm a Spurs fan. We're better than you. We play fast attacking football while Arsenal look stale. Can't wait. I think you said that yesterday, pal. I think that means Holding and/or Cedric will end up staying. I can't have Holding and Cedric. I can't have either of them. I can't, especially not Cedric. Holding is an absolute last resort. If even Win the dog can't play. In that case, fine. But otherwise, I can't have Cedric. I can't. Chelsea versus Luton prediction. 4-1 to Chelsea. It has to be. If it's not, they've had a bad game. He was gonna come. Oh, nearly cut out. He was gonna come on in the last game, and he didn't because of the red card. So I'm certain he's gonna come on this weekend. Holdini gives me flashbacks. Yeah, exactly. On following Balogun, by the way, just to kind of tick off that news, I'm back. I should have come straight back. On the Balogun, Fabrice Hawkins, this was last night, said agreement reached between AS Monaco and Arsenal for the transfer of following Balogun. It's a €45 million deal. Fabrizio then reported Monaco are close to reaching total agreement with Arsenal on a permanent deal for following Balogun. Sami Mokbel, Monaco are closing in on a £40 million swoop for Arsenal striker following Balogun. And then Secret Scout this morning said following Balogun in his camp expect his medical at AS Monaco to be booked for tomorrow or Sunday. So very much seems like that is close to being a done deal. And look, for me, and I said this on Twitter last night, 40 million quid is about 10 million short of what we supposedly wanted. And there is a full week left in the transfer window. And we could have held out for more. I think if we'd waited, there are quite a few teams that are looking at strikers, whether it's Fulham, Monaco, Chelsea potentially. I feel like we could have held out. So my feeling, and I guess it's more of a hope than a feeling, is that we've taken the 40 million now in order to buy someone else before the end of the window. That's my feeling. If we weren't going to buy anyone else, I think we'd hold on and really try and eke out as much as we possibly could. But the fact that we've taken it, I think it means that we might go for another signing. Rory, with Timber's injury, if you had to pick one player that we signed to come in and play where he did, who would it be? And this is the difficulty because I'm not convinced that long-term Timber was brought in to play in at left-back. I just don't think he was. And so I wouldn't bring in someone to play at left-back. I think between Zinchenko, Kivior, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu, I think we're fine at left-back. So I think it would be a right-back. Kyle Walker-Peters didn't actually seem like an awful option to me on a loan deal. Because the thing is, if you go out and buy like a genuinely good player, then when Timber does come back, it's almost like you've got too much. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one, and I don't really know what the option is. It wouldn't surprise me at all if out of nowhere, but in the final week, it wouldn't surprise me at all if in that final week suddenly Arsenal are linked to a player that none of us have mentioned, which has become quite common at Arsenal. Kivior, Fabio Vieira. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Would you take Ben Johnson from West Ham as he's attracting Premier League interest? Probably not, in all honesty. Probably not. Do you think we'll get 21 points by the Man City match? Yeah, I think. Well, do I think we will? Not sure. Do I think we should? Absolutely. The target should be 21 points when we play Man City. Because Man City are going to be on 21 points when we play Man City. And if we go into that game already behind them and then they beat us, early doors, that's a deficit that you've got to try and close. I still think Flo would have a big sell-on fee, whereas we wouldn't get that from a Prem team, and we ask Flo going for, and we risk Flo going for 45 to a Prem side, closer to the day. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I think there is a sell-on clause in that Monaco deal. I don't know how big it is, but I think there is a sell-on clause. Thoughts on Mike Dean? I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the Mike Dean story. If you haven't, the game last year, Chelsea against Tottenham, a few minutes to go. Chelsea were 2-1 up. There was a corner, and during the corner, Romero grabbed a fistful of Cucurella's hair, yanked it back, clear and obvious red card. That corner didn't go in, but it led to another corner, and from that corner there was an equaliser, and Tottenham scored. Mike Dean has come out, so Anthony Taylor was the referee, and had a good game up until that point. And for whatever reason, and I still don't really understand the logic behind it, Mike Dean looked at that on VAR, he was the VAR, looked at the hair pull, knew it was a red card, but didn't call Anthony Taylor over to the screen because he didn't want to give him grief and he didn't want to potentially make Anthony Taylor's game that had been good up until that point bad. And I just don't understand it. The logic is baffling. So there's and there's so much wrong with it. So one, Mike Dean has allowed a decision, a result-defining decision, to happen because he was looking out for his mate, which just shouldn't be how it goes. And secondly, by not calling Anthony Taylor over to the screen, it made it the biggest talking point of that weekend. And Chelsea fans, who already think Anthony Taylor hates them, makes them think that even more. So, it's as stupid as it is ridiculous. And I think it just goes to show the absolute mess that PGMOL is in. And this is what we've said, and I've said it on this channel for as long as the channel's existed, pretty much. PGMOL is a boys' club. It's a mates' club. There's no meritocracy. The fact that they're all from up north, they're all from around Manchester, not all of them, but most of them, and they are all mates, and it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know what the solution is, but I don't know. Rory, he's here, the weapon. We need a mod. Who is it? Arsenal Fan TV. Yeah. He's gone. He's gone. Their statement is a disgrace too. Has there been a statement? Has there been a statement? I didn't realise there had been a statement. So that's interesting. I'll look at that. I didn't know there had been a statement. This Mike Dean quote proves why we will never get live in-play audio from Rest. Well, I'd love to know what that conversation was. And the thing is, right, and this, I think, by the way, because we've heard other things about this, where Howard Webb was saying about a game years and years ago, by the way, that ended up ultimately getting Newcastle relegated when Alan Shearer was managing them. And he disallowed a goal that he shouldn't have done because he blew his whistle too early. And he said that not only the rest of that game was he willing Newcastle to score a winner, but for weeks after that, he was hoping that Newcastle would survive because he knew if they didn't, it might be on him. And I think this happens a lot with referees because when Mike Dean didn't get Anthony Taylor to send Cucurella off, he would have been praying that Tottenham didn't get an equaliser. And then from the following Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff. 2-in-1 stream. We're back in the depths. We are back in the depths. We strongly refute any suggestion that VARs do not intervene for whatever reason when they have identified a clear and obvious error. Right. But they did but we know for a fact that that's not true. Like, why would Mike Dean admit to doing that if he hadn't even done it? That would be even more mental than the entire thing is anyway. Rory, have you got tickets for the Fulham game? I do have tickets for the Fulham game. I will be at Fulham tomorrow. So referee stuff aside, because it is just annoying. Prediction for tomorrow's game. I'm going 4-1 to Arsenal. Now, let me just, by the way, because I don't think Fulham are anywhere near as good as they were last season. I actually think Fulham are going to have a bit of a relegation battle on their hands this season. Now, they got battered by Brentford. Brentford are playing well, but they got battered by Brentford. But also, how has he not been sacked? He was. Well, he says he resigned, but he was basically sacked. But now he's making more money because he's on TV. And this is the other thing. Those referees love the limelight. They love to be famous, which I think is why Mike Dean even admitted to this in the first place, because it's such a stupid thing to admit to. But that game against Fulham, the game against Everton, opening game of the season, Fulham against Everton, they did win the game, but actually, Everton battered them. Everton were incredibly unlucky. I think they had over 3 XG, and were incredibly unlucky not to get something out of that. So I think Fulham are quite bad. Tim Ream is out, who's their captain, as Beast Destroyer says. They've basically not got a striker. I don't think Mitrovic will play. So yeah, I'm very confident. The reason I say 4-1 is because it's at home. It's at home. It's a 3:00 kickoff, and Ramsdale will concede because that's just what he does at home. But I think we will batter them. If we buy a replacement for Timber, we can still sell Tommy. Then we wouldn't feel like overkill. I don't think we'll sell Tommy. But Leno about to turn up. I hope not. Mitrovic is in Saudi. Yeah. Don't blame Rambo. No, I don't blame Rambo. I don't even blame Rambo. It's just the general defence. We seem to we fall asleep. That's what we do. At home, we go 2-3-0 up, and we go to sleep. Which is something... Mitrovic is in Saudi. Which is something we don't do when we're away. It is what it is. Do you think we should play more games without Partey, as he'll be gone for AFCON? It's not soon, right? AFCON's not until January, is it? I think AFCON's not till January. What time is kickoff? Tonight? Chelsea kickoff's at 8 p.m. UK time. How many games will Partey miss? In theory, only 2. Premier League games. In theory, there are only 2 Premier League games. Because of the winter break, there are only 2 Premier League games scheduled for AFCON. So it's not too bad. It's not too bad. As long as he doesn't go and get injured. And Tomiyasu will also be on the Asia equivalent of AFCON. Rory, the refereeing system should be more like rugby. I agree. Rugby is so far ahead. Rugby is so far ahead when it comes to refereeing in general. Call me crazy, but I think but I really do think a big win for us. 7-0. Ross Lawman's going for the 7-0. We will see. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who that Arsenal player is. Fastest fingers first in the chat. Now, today's a big game in the chat because Beast Destroyer's there, VV Vlad is there, Ross Lawman is there. Some of the big hitters of Guess the Gooner are all in the chat, and it's going to be a tasty one. It is going to be a tasty one. If you're watching on TikTok and you want to get involved, the Instagram icon in my bio will take you to YouTube. Please do subscribe. If you're watching the stream currently as well and you're not subscribed already, please do. It does massively help me out. Rugby, cricket, and so many other sports are so far ahead of football in terms of the use of technology to help the officials. I agree. I absolutely agree. But anyway, Guess the Gooner started their career at SC Bastia. They went on loan to Charlton. They went to Barcelona. They went on loan to West Ham. They went on loan to West Ham again. They went to Rubin Kazan, FC Sion, and AS Arta. So SC Bastia. Charlton on loan, Barcelona, West Ham on loan again, Rubin Kazan, FC Sion, and AS Arta. And lots of people have got it, but who got it first? And it was... It was VV... I tell you what, right? We said we had 3 big hitters here. VV Vlad is first. Beast Destroyer is second. Ross Lawman is third, in that order. I should take a screenshot. I should take a picture of it. My phone's streaming TikTok. But on my screen, it is VV Vlad, followed by Beast Destroyer, followed by Ross Lawman. The 3 big guns that we called out were the top 3. Dan Waite was 4th, and Emilio was 5th. But congratulations to VV Vlad, who just nipped in and won ahead of Beast Destroyer and Ross Lawman. But that was a good game. Have you noticed that we tend to score our goals in a concentrated time period and then try to hang on for the rest of the game? Kind of, yeah. Kind of. That's why VV Vlad is my GOAT. There you go. They're the big 3. Congratulations to VV Vlad. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Non-Gooner. Bro, me, Tom, and Joshua are chat merchants. Ross, Beast, and VV Vlad are the quiz merchants. Yeah, you are. I do respect your activity in the chat as well. I do respect it. Ross Lawman ball knowledge has been a bit dodgy lately. Oh, Ross Lawman's getting pelters. Ross Lawman's getting pelters. Guess the Non-Gooner. Yeah, we will get into Guess the Non-Gooner, where I give you a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal. I give you their full career path, and you have to guess who that player is. This person started at Shrewsbury. They went to Manchester City. They went to Tranmere on loan, Blackpool on loan, Birmingham on loan, Torino on loan, West Ham on loan, then to Burnley, Tottenham, and Celtic. So they started at Shrewsbury. They went to Man City, where they went to Tranmere on loan, Blackpool on loan, Birmingham on loan, Torino on loan, West Ham on loan. They then went to Burnley, then Tottenham, then Celtic. And lots of you have got it. It is indeed one Joe Hart. And do you know what? Jake Matterford is first. Beast Destroyer was second. Matthew Potts was third. Ross Lawman was 4th. And James McCarthy was 5th. Jake Matterford, I would argue, is actually the Guess the Non-Gooner king. Jake Matterford is a very, very regular winner of Guess the Non-Gooner. Not so much Guess the Gooner, but Guess the Non-Gooner, Jake Matterford, he's got it down. And fair play to Mr. Matterford. And congratulations to everyone else that was on the podium or in the top 5. It was a good game. Of Guess the Gooner and Guess the Non-Gooner today. Yes, I got a podium. Matthew Potts did. He did get top 3. Said I got it first on my screen. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry. It's my screen. My screen rules. I got robbed. I'm 4th on my screen. I know. Them's the breaks. I'm the Ross Lawman of Guess the Non-Gooner. There you go. First on my screen twice, according to Beast Destroyer. You need better ping. You need better ping. That's all I can say. VV Vlad's got the supreme 1 ping. But there you go. Emilio says he couldn't respond. I'm sorry. But look, do you have a second team? I have a second team. Arsenal and QPR is a bit of an interesting one. Obviously, my second team is Hereford, but they're in the non-league. So, score prediction for tomorrow is 4-1. Goal scorers. Good question. Saka 1, Ødegaard 1 penalty, Trossard 1, and Declan Rice with his first goal for the club. There you go. That's the prediction. Saka, Ødegaard, Trossard, and Declan Rice. Obviously, I've got Saliba Ødegaard and Saka in the old FPL. Are we gonna do guess the Gunner and non-Gunner winners? I mean, look, if you want to get involved in guess the non-Gunner winners, any FPL transfer this week? Yes, I got rid of Bruno Fernandes and I brought in Mbeumo. Got rid of Bruno Fernandes, brought in Mbeumo. But what I've done is I now have like 3.5 mil in the bank. And next week, I'm probably going to use a little bit of that to change a striker. Arguably more ball knowledge for Guess the Non-Gooner because there are more options. Yeah, I'd say more broad ball knowledge for Guess the Non-Gooner. But obviously, the respect in this community goes to that elite Arsenal ball knowledge. I literally got rid of Bruno and got Mbeumo too. There you go. There you go. Great minds. Great minds. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream today. Massively appreciate all of you that have tuned in. I apologise for the 2 crashes. I thought we were over it, but we're not. Please do smash a like on the stream if you've enjoyed it. Drop a subscription as well if you haven't. And look, big game tomorrow. Arsenal versus Fulham. I'll be there. I hope to see as many of you there as possible as well. I will try and be back live tomorrow evening, but I'm not sure. But other than that, have a fantastic evening, a fantastic weekend, and I will see you when I see you. Goodbye.